My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Happy New Year's 2022. Oh, I got to tell you, I'm really excited for 2022. I haven't in the past been a big New Year's, new you, new year, new possibility kind of person. But over the last couple of years, I have started to notice and start to tap into a certain type of reset that seems to show up at New Year's, in using that energy, that kind of collective agreement to my advantage. And I'm going to share with you today a little bit about what I've discovered, and hopefully we can get curious together and discover what is possible for you with setting targets and how your targets actually do impact the world, believe it or not. So what if everything that your life has been up until now, all of your relationships, all your definitions and all the meanings that you've attached to everything, what if you were really willing to have a reset and really willing to destroy and uncreate it and open up to a truly new possibility? Because you see, everything that you hold on to, even the good stuff, doesn't allow new and even greater stuff to come in. Now, I'm not talking about go get a divorce, go break up with your partner, kick your kids out of the house. I'm talking about the energetics of things and how we create an energetic relationship with people around us. We create an energetic relationship with things such as our work environment, the people that we work with, our business itself, even our body. That's right. You can have a totally new possibility with your body as well. A totally new possibility. And you can set targets in that area. So when we look at destroying and creating the relationship, the definition of relationship actually is the distance between two objects. So when you're destroying and creating your relationship, let's just do it with us right now. So if we destroy and create the relationship that you have with me and that I have with you, then there's possibly less distance between us. How cool is that? If you do it with your partner, there could be possibly less distance between you and your partner, less distance between you and your body. So something I really love to do when the new year kicks in and I'm doing the countdown, I kind of bring up the energy of everything that's been before, like all my lifetimes and everything, even the stuff that I think that I got right. And I just kind of bring it up and I just blast it out. Goodbye. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Destroy and create it. Because I'm more interested in new possibilities that have never been here before than holding on to the rightness of anything or the wrongness of anything. That includes the wrongness of you. Everywhere that you've made yourself wrong, everywhere you've defined yourself, you can destroy and create your relationship with you too. So that might seem bizarre, that might seem impossible, but truly this is the delicious energetics of things. And when you allow yourself to get curious, when you drop your walls and barriers, and thinking is often a wall and a barrier. So when you just drop your thoughts away, you're going to get a sense. You're going to get a sense of something that it's either light or it's heavy. And what's true for you is always light. And what's heavy for you, there's always a lie in there. That's just the laws of the universe. So what is light for you to destroy and create this year to create something greater for next year? Yeah, I just sensed a big shift right there in the letting go. And it's actually a beautiful thing to let go, even of the wonderful things. I have so many wonderful things in my life and so many wonderful people. And I know that when I destroy and create my relationship with them, I'm opening up the doors to so many more possibilities with the people that I'm close with, the people I desire more closeness with, and even the people that I've been in conflict with. I like to destroy and create relationship with them too, because what if that opened up some possibility? What if I was willing not to hold grudges? What if I was willing to not hold on to the wrongness of anyone, including me? And really what I'm saying all this is, I mean, what if you were willing? Then we go into the next piece. The next piece is creation. What would you like to create this year? I'm actually so truly curious. I would love to know. And if you ever feel inspired to comment on any of these podcasts, please do. I always check them, or even private message me. My sense is the possibility for creation beyond this reality this year is so open. It has this potential to be so much easier and so much faster if we're willing to have it. So when I look at that, I start to look at what are some of my targets. And sometimes I kind of like to look like, what are my personal targets? What are my financial targets? What are my targets with my body, with my business, with my relationships? And for me, it's a play. It's so fun to look at these targets. And so as you look at these targets and you start to look at what are you asking to create, then I'm going to invite you to the next piece. Okay. Would you get curious? Would you be willing to be so truly curious about what you could be in the world, what you could choose in the world that would create a greater world for us all? I had this moment actually on the day right after New Year's. The New Year's Day. So right after New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And I was just kind of looking at the world. And I was so aware of the things that don't really resonate with me, that don't really support the things that I'm asking for. I'm asking for a kinder world, a more curious world, a more creative world, a more free world, a more joyful world, a world where we actually truly contribute to each other, not from what am I going to get out of it, not from give and take, and they owe me, but from a true space of contribution and knowing that when you truly gift to someone, your world will get greater. Everyone's world will get greater. And I was looking at all these things and I was like, oh, this is just, there's so much where we are so quick to be brainwashed, to be influenced. We're so quick to align and agree with something or resist and react to something. And then we jump sides the moment we think that we're losing this side. We're so quick to cut people out if we think it's to our advantage. We're so quick to destroy someone to get what we want. And when I say we, I'm just talking about worldwide. There's this very interesting energy that people have. And when I really got intimate with that, it is this sense of individualization. It's a sense of not knowing that you are a part of a whole, that you are a part of oneness, that we are actually truly all connected And I got really angry. And after I got over that, I started to look at, okay, what action can I take? What can I choose? What can I be? What can I create that would create a world that I would like to be in? It's easy to kind of create your own little bubble, like your own little universe, right? And you can just shut out the rest of the world. But what if we could actually be in the world and make it greater for us? What if when you're willing to be you in the world, it will start to shift and become more of what you would like to have here? So if all the kind, caring, wonderful, curious, conscious seekers of the world go into their own little bubble, shut out the rest of the world, go into hiding, this world's not going to get greater. What if we were willing to be in the world? What would the earth be like in 100 years if you were willing to be in the world more? What possible futures would be available if you were willing to be in the world more? I wonder. So targets. What's the cool thing about targets? So I used to do a lot of goal setting. I learned about that in high school. And then even in my college courses, I took business in college. They talked a lot about goal setting, and I learned how to work back. And it was really fun for me because I like organizing. I like lists. If you watch in my podcast, you probably know that by now. I like lists. I'm always suggesting make a list. But what would often occur is that I wouldn't fully reach the goal. I might have gotten halfway, or the goal kind of had changed. I was going for something, but then it was like, actually, as I was going towards it, I got more clear that I wanted to go off to this side. So then kind of at the end of the year, you kind of look over your goals, right? And what did I achieve? And I often found myself feeling really bad about myself. I found myself judging and almost having this disappointment and creating a sense of I'm not good at achieving goals in my world. Then I learned about targets. So this is a concept from Access Consciousness. And they talk about, instead of setting goals, what if you set targets? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what's the difference? So we know, let's take soccer, right? Like or hockey. You're trying to hit the goal. If you miss, then you lose the game. Now, target practice, right? There's a circle, there's this middle one, there's this one, there's all these possibilities. You're aiming for the middle, but you might like your bow and arrow, you might get out here, you might be up here, you might be down here, you might have missed the whole thing, but you just keep aiming, and you have infinite arrows, and your targets can change. And there was this energetically for me, it was way more congruent and had a sense of joy no matter any time I was shooting the arrow, whether I hit the middle of the target or hit some part of the target. It gave me the sense of acknowledging what I was choosing and the actions that I was taking. So I don't set goals anymore. You still can if you like goals, but I am going to invite you to look at the energy of possibly having targets in your life instead, and what you can create with targets. So if you, in this new year for you, look at what are some targets that you could maybe write down, maybe make that list, but some targets that you can choose, that you can take action on, that you can institute, create, generate, and actualize. And you can have targets that are just for you, right? But would you be willing to acknowledge that if you are a part of oneness by some chance, and I think that you are, that your targets actually contribute to the whole? It actually contributes to the expansion of consciousness. If you are a supporter, a seeker of consciousness. So your target might be to simply stop judging you so much this year. Or your target might be to be more aware of what you're choosing with your body. Your target might be to create a wonderful, kind, nurturing, exciting, delicious relationship. Whatever your target is, if you're willing to include the world in it, even though it seems like it would just be for you, it can contribute to new spaces opening up for the whole world. How beautiful is that? So what are your targets for this next year? And are you willing to have them, some of them at least, be the change that you're asking to have in the world? So here I am again, having this moment. The world. I don't like this. What would it take for something different to show up? And then I realized, oh, I have to be something different showing up. So what can I choose and what can I be? What can I create that would be the change that I would like to have in the world? And then I started to so I asked that question, all these awarenesses start to pour in, which is, that's the gift of a question when you ask it really curiously. So when you're truly asking from curiosity, what can I be or choose or create that would be this change in the world? And when you have that sense of curiosity, you're actually tapping into spaces of consciousness and you're allowing it to communicate to you. And you're going to have ideas come in. Write them down. Write them down so that you don't forget them, so that in 6 months from now, you're not like, what was that thing again? If you're willing to, write them down. And what if you chose at least one of them? Maybe more, I don't know, but at least one. What if you chose at least one of those awarenesses and took action on it and brought it into the world? Because imagine there were millions or billions of us around the world creating things that made the world more wonderful, more kind, more in communion, more joyful. Could you imagine what the world would be like even in 20 years and 5 years? And it would be completely different. What if this year you included the world in your vision for the next year, your targets? And it's not always going to make sense cognitively. You know, it might be, you might get this sense to go to a spa retreat, and that's really light for you. And you cannot fathom, how on earth is this going to make the world a greater place? You don't have to figure it out. Don't worry about it. Choose it, take action, allow the universe to contribute to you, and see what shows up. Curiously explore it and see what shows up. Because I really have this sense that there's something really different possible this year. And I would like to co-create a greater world with millions, if not billions, of people around the world. So happy New Year's, my friend. I hope you find that 2022 is kinder to you, more creative, more orgasmic and fun, joyful, peaceful, easeful, more abundant, and more full of the elements that you've been desirous of, that you've been truly asking for and willing to receive. Let's explore this new year with so much curiosity and see what's possible. If you like this podcast and you know anyone that it would be a contribution to, please share it. I would love to get this, love to contribute to as many people as possible on this planet. Because oneness, baby. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?